2020, a year which was supposed to be one of the greatest. We had high expectations and entered the new year with joy, laughter, and colorful skies. Not a single one of us could have had even the slightest idea of what was about to happen.
To the fire catastrophe in Australia, where the nation's largest evacuation is now underway.
The coronavirus is a pandemic.
They're digging mass graves for those who can't afford a funeral.
The death of George Floyd in police custody sparking new protests nationwide.
I'm tired of my black men and my black women being shot!
It's safe to say that this year was a tough one. Wildfires, floods, earthquakes, insect plagues. We witnessed some of the worst natural disasters our world has ever seen, and it costed realms of lives for both humans and animals. This year was shaped by division and inequality. And with COVID-19, we faced the most lethal viral enemy we've seen in centuries. It wiped our streets clean of any human life, and we were forced to isolate ourselves in order to save the lives of others. Many of us lost their loved ones, their homes, their jobs, and ultimately their belief in a brighter future. It's the first time our generation had to deal with the lack of social interaction at this scale, and it made us feel depressed and empty. And while most of these tragedies influenced specific groups of people who just were at the wrong place at the wrong time, the global pandemic affected the lives of each and every single one of us. All the 7.8 billion people all around the world have a unique story to tell about this extraordinary year. And today, I want to share my story with you. By the beginning of the year, I still worked at a full-time job creating videos for another YouTuber. For the majority of the time I worked there, it was my absolute dream job because we had a great team, drove fast cars, always traveled to new places each month and created new videos every week. But after doing it for more than 1.5 years, my passion for filmmaking slowly started to dissolve as I couldn't identify with the videos I was creating anymore. My work became monotonous, I didn't have the time to realize my own projects, and I just felt like I was stuck. Filmmaking is the single most important thing in my life, and not being able to further advance that passion made me feel depressed in some way. I always was a person who was drawn to discomfort in order to learn new things and move forward in life. I dreamed of something bigger. I dreamed about creating films which tell meaningful stories and inspire other people to also chase their dreams. As an outlet for my dark thoughts, I started to focus on sports. After staying away from gyms for more than 4 years, I finally signed up again and started to work out. I'd go to the gym almost every evening after work in order to train my muscles and run on the treadmill. I started to feel stronger and saw how I improved day by day. Besides my lacking passion, I also didn't enjoy this fast way of traveling anymore. By being in so many different countries all the time without actually seeing anything of the landscapes, the culture, the people, my love for traveling started to fade. So I finally made one of the hardest decisions of my life. I quit my well-paying, full-time job in order to revive my passion for filmmaking and move to a foreign country for at least 1 year. By the end of March, I took my last vacation days and flew to Rome in order to create my first video. I felt motivated and I was ready to start this new chapter of my life.
Stay hydrated, rule number 1.
Everybody, including myself, underestimated the rumors of a potential COVID outbreak in Europe, but at the time when I got to Italy, things started to take a turn. Italy quickly became the first COVID hotspot in Europe, and cases started to increase dramatically day by day.
They shut down almost all places where people can gather.
The city slowly shut down until most of Rome's famous places were empty. More and more people started to die, and I saw how everybody was affected by the consequences.
It's not Rome now. Now it's a little bit bad, really.
By the end of my trip, Italy got declared to a red zone, and I made it back to Germany just in time before they started to cancel all the flights. So here I was, back in Germany, doing my quarantine. I just left my job. No company had the money to finance freelance projects, and I couldn't leave the country to live abroad. My plans were shattered. As I had to leave my apartment, I moved back to my hometown where I stayed at my mom's place together with my brother who was refused upon entering Switzerland with his girlfriend. It was nice to finally spend some quality time with my family again, because over the last years I barely had the time to do this as I was always working or traveling. But still, during the next weeks I found myself in a deep rut. I was watching Netflix all day long, slept in until noon and stopped doing sports as all the gyms closed. And on top of that, I didn't even feel bad about it, because everybody else was doing it as well during lockdown. But this wasn't me. I didn't want to be comfortable or lazy. I was about to abandon all of my plans, which made me quit my job in the first place, and I started to realize a very important thing. COVID is not going to be over after this lockdown. Maybe it won't be over in a few months or even years. Nobody knows that. If I can't change anything about the current situation, I have to make the best of it. So I decided to be optimistic towards every single situation and not let my life be determined by external factors. That's when I started to make changes and got out of my ruts. Instead of working out at the gym, I started to do calisthenics and went running every other evening. I decided to pursue my career as a YouTuber and started to create videos on a consistent basis. This was a huge step for me as I never managed to prioritize my time for YouTube, even though it was my dream to be a YouTuber since I picked up my first camera. I bought myself a new drone and practiced all the time in order to improve. At this point, I didn't know that my small drone would be the beginning for my success on YouTube. I quit social media for 30 days and made a video about it, which allowed me to spend much more time on the things I actually wanted to do. During this time, I reconnected with old friends who I didn't meet in years, started to learn more and more about stoicism, and ultimately appreciated every single moment while feeling truly alive. This social media detox had a huge impact on my life, and I'm planning to do it again next year. I was finally back on track and decided to move to Munich until the worldwide COVID situation would improve, because my plan was to still move to a foreign country. The first wave calmed down and people were allowed to meet up again. I established a routine which really improved my overall health and productivity. I would do sports in the morning, work during the day, and meet up with friends in the evening. And after uploading my first few videos onto my channel, the holy YouTube algorithm decided to recommend one of my videos. My first cinematic drone video started to get more and more views, which gave me a massive boost in motivation. I would script, film and edit videos every single day, and I fell back in love with the process of creating videos. My passion for filmmaking was finally back again. I started to meet up with other filmmakers and try to make each of my videos better than the last one. On Mallorca, I filmed my second cinematic drone video, which completely blew up and has reached more than 200,000 views by now. From this point on, my views and subscribers really started to grow. Companies started to reach out to me and I was able to get my first video sponsorships. This was the time when I realized, okay, this YouTube thing might actually work out, and if I keep going, I can hopefully live off of my passion projects in the near future, which fueled my motivation even more. Besides YouTube, also some freelance jobs started to come in. I got more and more paid client projects and had the chance to work on projects ranging from commercials to documentaries for huge companies like Mercedes and Schaeffler. Through these projects, I was not only able to save up some money, but I also learned many new things about the traditional filmmaking business, which definitely improved my skills as a content creator. So during the next months, I switched between making YouTube videos and working on client projects, and to be honest, things were going great. Throughout the last 9 months, I spent most of my time in Germany and the majority in front of my laptop editing videos in my one-room apartment. I was happy, but I missed going on adventures and seeing new places again. That's why my friend Gabo and I decided to fly to Greece for 3 weeks in order to see what it's like to work completely remotely. Both of us had a source of income for which we didn't have to be at one specific location. For me it was YouTube, and for Gabo it was his social media marketing agency. I explored new places, flew my drone, filmed the videos which I planned before the trip, and edited them in our Airbnb. We actually spent most of the time working on our own projects in the apartments, but I was loving it. felt like my dream of becoming an independent creator slowly turned into reality, and I was feeling more motivated than ever before. I was finally feeling alive again, excited about what each day had to offer for us. We visited the beautiful beaches which the islands had to offer, met some old friends in their villa, raced with our shabby 4x4 along the dirt roads, and watched many sunsets together. This construction site is probably the most beautiful construction site I've ever seen in my whole life. I never thought that I would say that. As it was just a few meters away from our Airbnb, we spent many evenings there. While we were watching the sun slowly moving below the horizon, we talked about the past year, about how fast these months seemed to rush by, and how many things happened throughout this crazy year.
Outside, outside, looking at the stars, staring with my mouth wide. I ain't letting nobody stop me this time. With every single level that I reach and I climb, they ask, are you from outside, outside? Everything around me I create with my mind. Working too hard, I don't want no downtime. Put my team on, they gon' shine when I shine. We can take this outside, outside. Looking at the stars, staring with my mouth wide. Yeah. I ain't letting nobody stop me this time. Every single level that I reach and I climb, they ask, are you from outside, outside? Everything around me I create with my mind. Working too hard, I don't want no downtime. Put my team on, they gon' shine and I shine. Yeah, we can take this.
And just when you feel like you finally found some peace after this wild ride, shit starts to happen. My friend Gabo had a pretty severe quad accident and broke his collarbone on an island without a proper hospital. Yep, that was it, the end of our trip together. He had to fly back to Germany in order to get a surgery, and from this point, I was just on my own. Alright guys, shit just got real, to be honest. Where should I start? The last couple of hours were kind of crazy. Faster than we could see, Gabo just crashed. Gabo crashed. I don't really know, it's just like, it's quite a lot right now. It just kind of reminds me again, like how fast things can turn around. Now I'm just on my own. Holy shit. I'm just going to try to cheer up in the next days and to keep this going, to make the best out of the situation, and yeah, I don't know. It's just fucking shit if a friend feels bad. In this very moment, sitting on the edge of the construction site and reflecting about what just happened, I truly realized to never take anything for granted, because anything can change within the blink of an eye. Wow. After all the highs and lows which 2020 threw at me, I'm sitting here in my apartment in Munich, writing the script and reflecting about the year. I feel like I didn't have the best starting point for a successful year, but through a shift in mindset and determination, I was able to turn this into one of the most exciting years of my life. I now do sports 3 to 5 times a week and feel stronger than ever before. I regained my passion for my work and feel fulfilled and motivated by building up this amazing community on YouTube with you guys. I'm feeling grateful for every single person I met in the last 12 months, no matter if it's my family, old friends, new friends, or if we met through our work, or if we just see us on our screens every other week. I appreciate every single one of you, and you made this year all worth it. As I said earlier, my story is only 1 out of 7.8 billion. And I'm grateful to say that it is a very privileged one. I'm aware that many people had to go through traumatizing and incredibly sad times this year. but I want to let you know that you can always change something about your situation, or at least try. You always have the following two options. You either give up and nothing changes, or you fight for a better world and become a hero. And this year, we've seen more heroes than ever before. The firemen and residents of Australia and California who saved thousands of animal lives. The people walking the streets to stand up against inequality and racism. The medical workers who work day and night to cope with the high numbers of infections, and vaccine researchers who tried their best to give 2021 a brighter future. But it's not only the people who work in these fields. It's the ones who talk up instead of staying silent. The ones who adapt their lives in order to save others. The ones looking for solutions instead of accepting the problems, and the ones keeping up the positivity and motivating others to do the same. It's undeniable that it was a challenging year, but we as humanity have endured tragedy before, and we emerge from these years stronger, wiser, and better. I don't measure success in money, possessions, or fame, but in the things I learn. And this year we learned a lot. We learned to put others before ourselves. We learned that nothing is predictable and that change is the only constant in our modern world. Changes, for the good or for the worse, are always going to happen throughout our lives, and it is up to us to navigate through these challenging times with an unbreakable optimism. You can only truly appreciate the highs if you experience the lows, and this year we learned to not take anything we have for granted. If people experience something tragic together, they always get closer, and this year 7.8 billion people had to face the same struggles. While we were disconnected physically, we learned to value our relationships, and humanity as a whole became more unified. 2020 is a year we won't forget. And this year there won't be any parties or colorful skies, but instead of trying to forget about what happened, I challenge you to look back on the things you learned this year, which ultimately made you a better person. Hey guys, I hope that I was able to inspire you by sharing this video and by also sharing my own story, and to motivate you guys to make the best out of each situation, no matter what obstacles life throws at you. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to share it with your friends, to give it a like, and to comment down below what your biggest learning from this year was. These small things really help me to get my message across to more people that are out there, because the YouTube algorithm is going to recommend this video and more people are going to see it, so it would be great if you do that. Also, if you want to join me on this journey, feel free to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on any of the upcoming videos. I myself am more than excited about what's to come, and I wish all of you guys a great start into the new year. See you.